Welcome back to Outrage Science Bites. I'm David Beckmeyer, and this is day 23 of our 30-day challenge, continuing our focus on bridging our divides. We've talked a lot about the problem of social media, the algorithms that reward anger and division, making it feel like we're fighting a losing battle against a systemic problem. For most of us, our interactions on these platforms are on an individual level. It's easy to get drawn into debate that leaves both sides feeling frustrated, misunderstood, and more entrenched than before. So how can one person engage in a way that truly addresses the systemic issues of division on social media without their effort just turning into a useless argument? That's our question for today. How can one systemically address divisiveness on social media platforms as an individual without it crumbling into debate where one digs in deeper? Answering that for us is Kamy Akhavan, the former CEO of procon.org, America's leading source of nonpartisan research on controversial issues. With 20 years of experience bridging divides, he's an expert in helping people look past the noise to see the full picture. Here's Kamy.
The question about systemically addressing divisiveness on social media platforms is in some ways a conundrum because social media is not designed for addressing divisiveness. It is not designed for long-form conversation. It is not designed to spark long conversations and discussions with people. It really is intended to be a profitable outrage machine. And all the algorithms are, as you and your audience know so well, are designed to give people what they want. And they want what they know. They don't want what they don't know, what they haven't heard from, what is big in their imagination, but not really present in their lives. And that is perspectives from others. So the answer to that question, I think, really comes down to, can you trick the technology to give you what you don't want? And by that, I mean, find disconfirming speakers and experts and like their posts, like their content, so that the algorithms think, oh, I know you're a big fan of Democrats, but you're asking to see stuff from the Wall Street Journal and the New Republic and Fox. And so here's some more of that. And then you get a richer media diet from that exercise. So that's one, is just changing the formula for the ingredients that are composing your media diet by seeking out disconfirming views. But beyond that, when you come to an engagement, and I've had several of these, I remember getting into it with a reporter from Waco, Texas, uber conservative person, and myself, I'm more moderate. And so he and I would have these long exchanges, and I, of course, felt like these exchanges are going nowhere because I really don't understand his perspective, and I felt like he really did not understand mine. But what was interesting is, because we were both modeling civil discourse and being so polite and kind to one another, people who were observing that conversation would reach out on direct message saying, I don't agree with this guy either, but I love that you're having this discussion. I don't want to engage with him, but I'm glad that you did. So there's something to be said for the courage of engagement, and not just letting the conversations be what they are. We have some influence. So what I ultimately think people should do is engage with the intention of checking another person's understanding by saying, I would like to learn more about your viewpoint. Facebook, Twitter is not the place for us to have this conversation, but there's a lot of information that I think you'd appreciate. So why don't we jump on a phone call or jump on a Zoom and talk this out? And that signals to their audiences that there's other people who are not buying what this person is saying, and two, that they're offering to have a conversation. And I think that modeling, I think, is really important. So bottom line, two things are: engage, but be brief, and seek some offline interactions. And two, trick the algorithms by liking things you wouldn't normally like.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that before. I think the one about liking things you don't ordinarily like, that's a good, because I'm very much more, I take liking things really seriously now. Like, which icon should I press, to thinking about how that might affect the algorithm, right? Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
It's good to be intentional because we have to. I mean, these are not thoughtful individuals who are curating experiences for us. These are purely machine driven. So if you like something, It is not a judgment. It just thinks, oh, he likes this. Did you engage with that content? Did you look at it for 5 seconds or 5 minutes? And then it alters what you see. And they're incredibly sophisticated. And so much of it has to do with not just your behavior in that social media platform, but your behavior on other platforms where it is aggregating content from other websites and it knows your interests and it can really, it thinks, curate a more thoughtful experience for you, but it is all manipulatable. And so if we want a really rich experience on these social medias, we have to be intentional about how we are liking or disliking or spending time or engaging with the content in order to have a rich media diet, or else that's for passive consumption. Otherwise, you got to go and spend your own time to try to find, oh, I've read this article from a left-leaning source. Now I'm going to go try to find one from a center, one from a right, and triangulate my viewpoint. And it just takes so much effort. So there's something nice about having a machine that gives you, a pretty decent media meal instead of having to go make one yourself.
That's all for today's episode of Outrage Science Bites. Stay curious, and until next time, I'm David Beckmeyer. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed these Science Bites episodes, you may enjoy the long-form Outrage Overload podcast at outrageoverload.net.